My name is Emmanuel Makokha. I am a career growth coach, and you may ask yourself what a career growth coach does. So as a career growth coach, I partner with professionals all the way from entry level to executive level. And what I do is to work with them to see their progress in their career growth. So there are tools that I provide, there are support programs that I provide that help these people to be able to grow in their career. So some of the things that I provide include career coaching, where we sit down, plan your career together, put up the milestones that we need to look for when you're growing your career, and the tools that can support you. Some of those tools include CVs, LinkedIn profiles. We're also looking at your personal brand. Are you going to work on your personal brand so that it can add value to your career growth? We're also looking at the interview process. How prepared are you for interviews? And we are just preparing you generally with the advent of technology and how technology is moving so fast. There are new areas of focus and preparing you for that type of competition, because the workplace is very competitive today. It started very interestingly because I had a problem when I graduated from university. That was around 2010. When I graduated, I didn't get my certificate on the spot, and I had a lot of problems with the university thereafter. So I used to look for work because life had to go on, and I felt like I didn't have direction. I didn't really get the types of jobs I wanted to get. This made me to go into a lot of research, and I discovered that there was a problem because I looked for that kind of help and I didn't get. This motivated me to look for more information on how I could also be able to help others. And after sharing with a few people that were close to me, they kept asking me to sit with them in an interview setup and find out if they're very good in answering questions. And that is how I started. So I started off as a freelance CV writer. Then from there, I got an opportunity with an NGO that amplified even these skills more, because they were looking for somebody with that kind of skill set. I worked with them for 5 years. Then the calling again came. I still left the organization, and now I came and founded Fresh Jobs Kenya, which is the umbrella organization that carries all this. There are two things that control the job market today. The first thing that controls the job market is understanding what is in the job market, and also how you can be able to respond. Now, the biggest disconnect that we have today is that people prepare CVs and apply, but they're not looking at what the employers are looking for. The first person that you compete against, we are calling a person in quotes because it's the system, is AI. So AI, and traditionally it's called an application tracking system. So an application tracking system is a search engine. It has been built in such a way that it can notice a CV that is closely related to that particular job, and it gives some percentages. So those percentages are the ones that are used. So anybody that is 90%, 80% is highly qualified. But most people would apply without caring about the keywords. Then sometimes the structures they use. There are people who are using tables, pictures, and what have you on their CVs. Those ones will make your CV not to be compatible with the ATS system. So you might wonder why you're not getting interviews, but sometimes it's because you're rated very poorly because of the kind of document that you have. Now, when it comes to the LinkedIn profile is, I call it a marketplace. The LinkedIn profile is available 24 hours to the world. It's like a shop that is open 24 hours. But the CV is somewhere on your computer, somewhere on your drive. Unless somebody asks for it, they will not see it. So if you decide to brand yourself, people will always, you're the first person to tell people who you are. And as long as they can weigh who you are against the interaction they have with you and feel like it is at par, then this person can work with you very well. The things you're not able to say on your CV, the videos, the pictures, the community engagement, the things that you do more than what you can put on your CV, your LinkedIn is the exact place for you to be able to use. Now, when it comes to the interviewing process, The interviews are different, and I've had a privilege of attending so many interviews myself. There's a company that took me to a place called an assessment center. There are people who don't know what an assessment center is. People who are going for executive level interviews, these executive level interviews are very thorough. They might even take 6 or 8 sessions. How do you behave when you're before a board? What kind of questions do you expect? So if you want to become a CEO, for example, you must prepare very well for some of these questions. So we just take our clients through understanding the entire process from the beginning to the end. Now, when it comes to the kind of transition support that we provide, there are clients who come to us and say, I would want to relocate to United Arab Emirates, or I would want to relocate to Canada or the US. We have done research and we have information about such markets. What are they looking for? Rather than just hopping on that plane and moving to another country, then you reach there, the system of the CV, the way it's done is not the same way we do it this other end, then that will actually be a hamper to you because you'll not be able to get what you want. So when I receive a phone call or an inquiry on LinkedIn, the first thing I do is to set up a virtual meeting with a client. Most of them prefer virtual because of distance and because of them being a bit busy, but there are some who also prefer physical meetings. So once we sit down, it's a 30 to 45 minute kind of discovery session. I don't charge for that session. So what I do is to get to understand the problem that the client is trying to solve. They would come to you and say they want their CV done, but sometimes it's more than the CV. I'll be able to recommend and say what you need is coaching and not the CV. Because the workplace today is an aggregation of many things. You need to do your CV right, you need to do your LinkedIn right, you need to network right, you need to behave very well at work, you need to develop your professional skills very strategically, you need to interview very well. All these things add up to you getting that particular job because the market is very competitive. You come with a degree, another person comes with a degree. A master's, another one with a master's. So the process begins first of all by understanding who you are, what your aspirations, what your values are, where you're really moving from, where you're moving towards as a professional. Then from there, once I get your problem, then I'm able to recommend the solutions that I can be able to provide. So there are some who understand the process. I just recommend that we redo their CVs. And if I also find that your CV is okay, I'm able now to recommend the coaching session and say, let your CV be, but let's look at the coaching sessions so that you can uncover the strategic bit. You have a good CV, but how many times do you apply? Where do you apply? Where are these jobs? Remember, it's only 20% of jobs that you see on the market or you see on the job boards, various job boards, but 80% of jobs are not advertised. They're actually done through referrals. So can you be able to build your industry network so that you can be able to get that referral if a position comes about? So once we agree that we are going to do your CV and your LinkedIn, it takes us about 5 working days to do your CV, your LinkedIn, your bio, and cover letter. There are those ones who take the entire package. Then there are people who take the coaching session. So for coaching, for career growth coaching, it takes us about 20 contact hours. So we have 15 hours of coaching, one-on-one coaching, minimum being 1 hour per meeting. So I customize my coaching based on the client's needs. There are clients I coach in the morning. Sometimes I begin my coaching at 5 a.m. in the morning, all the way to 7 before they go to work. I have others who are available during the day, and I also have others who are available in the evening. I have others who are only available on Saturdays. So it depends on your schedule. Then we are able to work together. Then when it comes to group coaching happens in a given venue. It can either be virtual or physical, but it takes a day. So we do that on Saturdays from 9 all the way to 4 p.m. in the evening. But we're able to cover quite a lot in terms of the tools that you need to put into place. Yeah, so I have done coaching for the last 5 years. That's the coaching bit. But the resume writing, the cover letter writing, I've done that for like 8 years. But the coaching bit started off 5 years ago. And when most of the people that have come, I have worked with quite a number of people. And just to be precise, I have worked with people from close to 30 countries. It's just not a Kenyan affair alone. I work with people from various countries, all the way from Egypt, in Europe. Most of them are from the African continent, of course. But then when they come in, there are things that I see. They come in putting a lot of weight on their CV, when it's not their CV that would give them what they want. They need to look at it from a broader perspective. So that is the greatest mistake that I see when they come in. They look at the CV as being the only option that can give them work. They don't look at their LinkedIn profile. They don't really look at their personal branding status, how people perceive them to be at the place of work. Are they being seen as people who can be promoted, or they're being seen as people who are sabotaging the organization, for example? So there's a message that we communicate, whether we are speaking or we are not speaking. Another thing that happens is that most people do not customize their application to a particular, a particular role. Most clients will come to me and say, I apply like 80 jobs in a week. And I'm like, 80 jobs how? If a client comes to me and tells me they have done one application in a week, I'm happy. Because they took their time to understand what the recruiter is looking for. So I care so much about telling them that look at quality and not quantity. Because you do 80, then start complaining. But then when you check clearly what is happening with each and every application, it's not clearly. You're not a contender that adds value to that particular organization. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Yeah. Then other people, when they come in, most of them are actually disturbed. That is one thing that I've noticed. There are people who mix their social life together with their professional life, and this is something that we also have to appreciate. The economy is not doing very well. And when people come in, they are pushed to take drastic actions, which sometimes are not, it's not a very well thought out process. Yeah, you're just looking for a program, thinking that it can cure your problem, but then you need something more. It's a process that might take us 3 months, 6 months for us to be able to achieve the goal that we want. So when it comes to coaching, coaching is sitting down with you, first of all, to identify who you are and get to know where you want to go with your career. Then we're able to identify the kinds of weaknesses that might actually be in your application process. And then now we're able to look at the tools. So we have tools that can help you grow your career. And one of the tools is, for example, the LinkedIn profile. The other bit would be, how are you behaving at the place of work? If you would want the same organization to give you an opportunity for growth, are you so deliberate in the courses that you're taking? So we are looking at what I call a panoramic view of your career. And one of the things I remember, one of the tools that we have is a SWOT analysis. We want to give you a template to fill in your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities that you might have, and also the threats. So one of the things that we talk about when it comes to the threats are things like artificial intelligence. So you're working for a call center today, and you realize that AI is coming up with tools that can actually pick someone's phone and provide a solution. What are you doing about it? You need now to say that you need to grow your skills to become now the person that implements the AI. Because AI cannot implement itself. So you become a project manager to implement AI. You will never be left out of employment. But if you just stay there and say your work will be to compete AI, AI is cheap, AI is available 24 hours, you're not available 24 hours. Then when it comes now to the CV bit, the CV is, we are able now to ask about your qualifications. We are asking you much more questions, because most people, the biggest mistake that people do is to copy paste their role to their CV. What they receive as a job description is what they paste. But is that exactly what you do? So once we dig in and find out the more achievements that you have, we are able to help you communicate better by creating more value to your potential client. So when it comes to CV writing, we are helping you to come up with a CV that is ATS compliant and a CV that is competitive and value, has the value that an employer can desire to have in the organization, because they are recruiting you to solve a problem. When you want to work with any career coach, or really what sets me apart is I have corporate experience. The organizations that I've served are, at a level of a branch manager, and I have worked for quite a number of organizations. I've been in the banking sector, I've worked in the NGO sector, I've been in the fintech sector, and I have the experience. I have about, since I left college, it's about 14, 15 years ago. So I have the experience. That's number one. Number two, I'm very passionate, and mine is research driven. I do a lot of personal research, and I have a lot of documents that have come up as a result of research. The other thing that sets me apart from the rest of the people is that I walk the journey with my clients. The clients I started with 8 years ago still reach out to me. They tell me, today I'm in Yemen, but I want to come back home. Today I'm in South Sudan, I want to come back home. So it's always a journey. As they keep growing, they will disappear for 2 years, 3 years, they come back. So I have their journey, and every customer, if you ask me, even if you prompted me in the night, I have their story at my fingertips. I'll tell you where they started, where they are, and where they are heading. So I have a personal relationship with every client that I work with. Networking is very, very critical to any person, because most of the deals that happen, even corporate deals, happen in a very informal way. When you see a paper being signed anywhere and cameras around, that deal has started somewhere from an informal setup. We are all human beings, and one of the characteristics that we have as human beings is to relate. Everybody looks forward to meeting somebody new every single day. So when you network, what networking means is you're building your net worth. You're building some sort of support system. You're building something that you can always, come back to. The same way, you talk about, cobwebs. A cobweb will always help the spider either to come down or to get its prey. It builds that system early in advance, so that if prey comes there, then it can get there. If it wants to run away, it's very easy to use the same cobweb to run away. So what you need to do is build that system everywhere you are, so that even if your neighbor on the same building is recruiting, that manager can just walk to you and say, so and so, we are recruiting. Are you interested? Most people have been reaching out that they need something a bit more affordable, because remember, when you're doing individualized coaching, we are doing it with one person. But now for us to be able to scale and make impact, from March this year on the 9th, we're going to have our first seminar, and this seminar is going to handle all the tools that you need to have when you're looking forward to this year in terms of now just building and propping up your career. So we'll be talking about the CVs, how to write a good CV, what you need to add in your CV or remove in your CV, the LinkedIn profiles, how do you position yourself, how do you build your thought leadership on LinkedIn, how do you network and grow. The other one will take people through the application process, both on the front end and on the back end. You'd want to understand how the ATS system works. Yeah, and then the next bit of it will be now, how do you prepare for interviews? And after we are done with the seminar, then we'll be able to give you the tools. We will be able to give you a soft copy of each and every tool that you can use to track your career and track each and everything that you need within the tools for you to be able to achieve what you want. So this is coming up on the 9th of March, and I welcome professionals to sign up. Come and learn something. You realize that there's so much that you can learn, and you actually have a lot that you did not know about. My website is freshjobskenya.com. www.freshjobskenya.co.ke. Now, Fresh Jobs Kenya is a platform that also has jobs every day. I update about 100 jobs every day on this platform. So even if you went to it today, you'd see that it has jobs every single day. Then you can get our numbers there and reach out to us. On LinkedIn, I'm known as Emmanuel, the Career Growth Coach. You'll be able to get me on LinkedIn.